Hey everybody, 404 Yeti here. So today we're going to go through a Sokudo challenge from Daily BugForge. So today we're actually going to learn about GraphQL. And so this is new for me, so I'm not a complete expert yet, but we can talk about it. So GraphQL is actually like a type of like query language that we can use like when we're looking for information. So it's kind of an alternative to like REST API. Usually it will be done by using one endpoint, and you can use that endpoint to search, delete, add, modify, just like you would a SQL database. So actually I think this is probably a more efficient way of looking for things rather than searching through a database. And I think a lot of people are switching to GraphQL just because it's efficient. And in this demonstration, I can totally agree with that. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's go ahead and take a look at what we can look for. So typically when we are looking for like a GraphQL, there's always going to be one endpoint that's always used, saying it's going to be like GraphQL. So that's kind of like a good hint, which I think is great. So when we're looking through the enumeration process, we can sit there and say, okay, hey, you know, I'm looking for this. This is what I'm going to do, and we can kind of make some good choices. Okay, so let's go into Kaido and let's kind of see what I got. So right away, you see the API GraphQL endpoint. So this is perfect. So when you see this, you know for sure that this company or people, they're using GraphQL, which is really, really important. So I think that this is vital for us when we're kind of doing that enumeration process. And I would actually probably hit this first if I see a GraphQL, just because, you know, you can see if you can kind of enumerate some databases or kind of see what the schema is, you know, stuff like this. So I think it's kind of a great idea. So now that we have this API endpoint, let's go ahead and actually start to mess around with it. So if we look at it, we see there's a lot of junk here, like metadata, user ID, event, whatever. But this is for registration. So we can actually probably get rid of like majority of that, like right here. So let me kind of get rid of all of this language here. And now we're just kind of left with like our current setup. So what we need to do actually is we need to make a query. So what they want is usually everything that will in our query will have spaces. So for instance, we'll do something like users. So we'll say something like brackets, users, space again, right? So after that, then, you know, we want to do something like ID, oops, sorry. Oops. Okay. ID and username. And then we have a space and another space. So it's not really super complicated. We can see that, you know, we're calling out users, an ID, and then a username. So that's kind of the same schema or markup as we would like a database. But the big difference is you see some spaces, which can be kind of misleading. But let's go ahead and run this and see if we can find any information. And we can. So we can see that we can find admin, we can see speed typer, learner, tester, and tester1. So these are my two accounts, and we can see that works. So now we can make it even simpler. If we just want to check for passwords, all we gotta do is just, you know, have a space and type in passwords. And so what that'll do is that'll actually just go ahead and query that information for us. And sure enough, here we go. So we see that we have our user, user ID, username, and password. And so you can see that this is kind of a huge vulnerability because, you know, obviously I was able to get the username and password super quick. So I think that this is a really, really important thing that people need to work on and kind of learn about securing GraphQL, because as you can see, it was really quick. So guys, hopefully you kind of liked that walkthrough and you found it informative, and we'll see you guys in the next challenge.